Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial again. So this time I'm going to be doing a full face of makeup with a black smoky eye. So I do want to address that in my previous video I seemed really unenthusiastic and unhappy about me doing a makeup video. I am honestly not like that. It was just, I don't know why I decided to film it at 12 o'clock at night, so that's probably why. And also I do have RBF, which is resting bitch face, so forgive me. If you like what you see today and you want to learn how I have created this look, please continue to watch. Alright, so the first thing I am going to be starting off with is my brows. So when I am doing eyeshadow, I tend to do my brows first, then do the eyeshadow, and then do the rest of the face. I don't know why, I just prefer to do it. I will begin by using Precisely My Brow Pencil by Benefit Cosmetics in the shade 4. So this is what it looks like. This is kind of one of my favourite brow products, to be fair. Do love it. So what I'm going to be doing is, again, I'm going to apologise for my brows. I have not done my brows because I'm growing them out, so they may look a bit crazy at the moment, and plus I'm not going anywhere for me to be doing my brows, so yeah. Alright, so what I start off doing is making a line just underneath my brows, on the base of my brows, and then following that all the way around. Yeah, and then not going all the way to the end there. I kind of start about there, and then I will then outline the top of my brows. And now don't worry if you feel like you've overdrawn them or made a mistake. It's completely fine, because you can always brush it out with your spoolie, or you can always conceal them, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm just filling them in. And then as soon as I get to here, I like to brush through my eyebrows first, so they don't look too dark and they don't look too harsh. And then what I like to then do from these parts of my brows, I just like to go upward, so drawing lines going upward, but not too harsh. And if you feel like you have done them harsh, again, you can always just blend them out with your spoolie. And there you go. I'm going to be using the Gimme Brow by Benefit Cosmetics in the shade 6. So that's it, if you can see it. Now this I just use just kind of more at the front as opposed to the rest of the brows, but I do it quite lightly, I don't go too crazy with it. Next, what I'm going to be doing is carving out my brows to give my brows that really defined look that I like. So I'm just going to be concealing all around the brows. Again, so I'm going to be starting from underneath. Obviously where I haven't done my brows, this is a good thing to cover up the messiness. Alright, I know currently I look a bit crazy. What I then like to do is with my concealer brush, just going into the front part of my brows, just to soften that a little bit. And then just bringing the concealer down. And then so that it doesn't look too harsh. And then that's the eyebrows done. No. And then grabbing a fluffy brush like this, I'm just gonna blend the rest of it out because it's giving me a little bit of anxiety right now. It looks crazy. Alright, so I'm going to be starting my eyeshadow now. So what I've done already is I've primed my eyelids with this primer by NARS, which is called the Tinted Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base in the shade Medium Dark. Obviously a lot of people use like the Urban Decay one, a lot of people use MAC Paint Pot, but I just prefer this one. This is one of my favourites, so I'm going to be using this. So now the eyeshadows I'm going to be using are by Juvia's. Their eyeshadow palettes are amazing. Honestly, like all of their colours are so pigmented. Probably one of the best I've ever used. So I'm definitely going to be using them today, and I'll be showing you guys which ones I've been using and what colours. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is doing some eyeshadow just in the crease, and that's just going to warm up my lid just a little bit. And so I'm going to be using the Nubian palette by Juvia, and I'm going to be using these two shades just there at the top. So now I'm just going to be getting a fluffy brush. So this is by Crown, which is the C511. I don't know if you can see it. So it's quite fluffy like that. So that's what I'm going to be using in the creases. So the next colour I'm going to be using is from the Saharan Blush Volume 1. I know it's a blusher, but I like it, and I like to use it as an eyeshadow. So yeah. Alright, so this is the palette, and I'm going to be using this shade just here, which is Toby. And now that's going to be going again in the creases. Now I'm just doing forward and back motions, and then just like little circles, so that it just blends it out. So the next colour I'm going to be using is another transition colour. I'm going to be again using a palette from Juvia's, which is this one, Afrique. And the colour I'm going to be using is this one at the top, which is Dakar. Yeah. And again, I'm going to be using that in the creases. Now, with that one, I'm going to be using the MAC 217 fluffy brush. Again, I'm not going to be using too much of this, but mainly focusing in the crease of my eye. And then grabbing the other brush that I used the first colour with, and then just blending that all together, bringing that up. Right, so next I'm going to be using a black to go on the lid. And now the palette I'm going to be using is the Saharan by Juvia. Again, love these guys. And the colour I'm going to be using is Chad, which is just here in the corner. And now with that one, I'm going to be packing that right onto the lid. So just using any flat brush that you have, I'm going to be packing that on straight onto the lid. Now see, the reason why I do my eyeshadow first is because sometimes you get fallout like this, and I don't want to have to redo my whole makeup. So that's why I'd rather start off doing my eyeshadow first and then do my face. So yeah, just covering the lid with this. Really packing that on. And then I'm going to grab a fluffy brush. I'm going to use this one by BH Cosmetics. It doesn't actually have, it just says 3 on it, so I'm guessing it's 3. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend that in using circular motions with the orange. Now this does take a while, so I'm going to have to really keep blending it out. And then now getting another brush, and this time I'm using the MAC 221 brush, and then I'm just going to lightly dip into the black and then just kind of blend it in with the orange. So like, I don't know if you can see it on my brush, but I'm not using a lot of it. Because like I said, these eyeshadows are pigmented, like proper pigmented, so I'm not going to use too much. Now if you feel like you've lost some of that orange, you can always just go back into it, so I feel like I have. So I'm just going to grab my 217 brush again and then go in with Dakar, or Dakar, never mind. And then I'm just going to go over it. Now I'm going to be highlighting the corner of my eye near my tear duct and then just on the brow bone, and the colour I'm going to be using is again from another Juvia's eyeshadow palette from the palette Warrior. I'm going to be using Mormi, which is this one in the middle. Now with that one you just need a small brush, you don't need anything too big. Ideally something like this. I like to bring it down into the eyeshadow that I've just done. And then just kind of slightly go over it again with the orange. And then just going into the corner bit just here. I like to then bring it into the bit that's black. And then grabbing the brush that you used for the black eyeshadow and then just kind of slightly go over it. And lightly go over it. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the other eye off camera and then I'll be right back in a bit. So now I've done the second eye, I'm going to be doing the face now. So I'm just going to take away all of this extra stuff. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to sharpen the line of my eyeshadow. And this is kind of how I do my own eyeshadow. So just grabbing some makeup remover. Taking off all this extra bit here. And then I'm just going to fold it like that, and then just cleaning it like that, so it gives it a really nice sharp line. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Next is the primer that I'm going to be using, and if you watched my previous video you would have seen that I used the Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer in the Illuminating one, which is this one, and I'm going to be using that again. Just again dotting that all around the face. I think I may have been using the foundation that is a bit too light for me in my previous video, so this time I'm going to be using a foundation that's just a little bit darker, and this time it's still from NARS, but so it's this one, but it's actually the Natural Radiant Longwear foundation in the shade Tahoe. So that's what I'm going to be using today. I love NARS's foundations. I think they are the best. Again, so dotting this around the face. So again, in my previous video you saw that I wore two concealers. They are going to be the same two concealers that I'm going to be using today. So the first concealer I'm going to be using is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Chestnut. And then the second one will be the Benefit Cosmetics Boi-ing Cakeless Concealer in the shade 7. Again, just placing that underneath my eyes. Around my nose and around the mouth. So surely you know by now that I like to use a beauty blender, which is this one, so I'm just going to push that in. I've got to be super careful when I get near the eyeshadow. So this time with my concealer, I've just done it on the forehead, on the bridge of the nose, on the sides of the nose, underneath my eyes, just over here, on top of my lip, and then on my chin. So again, we're just going to be blending that out. And I'm going to be setting my under eye with, again, the Laura Mercier translucent powder, which is my favourite. And then on the bridge of my nose and on my forehead. And a little bit on my chin. So again, I'm going to be using the baking method and just let that sink into my skin for a little bit. Alright, so now that's all baked in, and I'm just going to brush out all that extra powder. So now that the foundation and concealer is all set, so I am now going to be going back into my eyes and then finishing my eyes off. I'll be using a pencil eyeliner just on my waterline, and then I'm going to be going on the top with a liquid eyeliner. So the first one that I'm going to be using is the Benefit Bad Girl Bang eye pencil, which is this one, and it's got a little smudger on the end where I have lost the lid. So I'm going to use that first on my waterline. And then next I'm going to be using eyeshadow just underneath my eye. Grabbing the orange from the Afrique palette by Juvia using the colour Dakar. I'm going to just blend that out just underneath. and I'm going to be using a little pointed brush. So this one is from Crown C513, so I'm just going to blend that out underneath. And then grabbing the black shade that we used for the lid, getting a flat brush like this. I got this from BH Cosmetics, and again, this doesn't actually say what it is, but it's just a flat brush. And that I'm just going to go just on my lash line and just using little wiggle motions. Just like grabbing the highlighter shade that we used just in the tear duct, I'm going to be then bringing that into the black. Be lining my eyes, and the one I'm going to be using is by Bourjois, which is the linear, I can't even pronounce it, it's this one, I don't know what it's called. Ugh, focus. I really like this one because it doesn't, so it dries matte, it doesn't leave that satin finish, it does stay on. I really like the brush because the brush is, I find, very easy to use, which is quite thin and small like that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be using. Now when it comes to eyeliner, I know that a lot of people find it really hard to do eyeliner, so I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So starting from the corner of my eye to where my eyeshadow is, I'm just going to do a line going upward, just like that. And then from the top of that liner, I'm going to do like a line going down towards my eye, and that's going to be like a little triangle. And then shading that in. I don't like to do them really long eyeliners, I just think it looks stupid, if you really want me to be honest. Alright, and then basically I'm just gonna follow my lash line and just go around my eyelash or eyelid, I don't know. And then I'm connecting those lines up. Now then what I then like to do is just in the corner of my eyes just do like a little point, and the reason why I do that is because it just makes it look a bit more like cat eye. So literally just in the corner when it wants to focus. A little line going down and then connecting it just where your tear. Now to finish off my eyes, I'm going to be doing some mascara. You can put eyelashes on if you want to, but I just don't like putting on eyelashes, so I'm just going to put on mascara. So I'm going to curl my eyelashes, and then again from my previous video I'm going to be using the Roller Lash by Benefit Cosmetics. The eyes done, and then we are going to finish off by doing the rest of the face. So bronzing, highlighting. This time I'm actually going to put on some blusher and then finally do the lips. So just from my previous video as well, I'm going to be using the Hoola Caramel by Benefit for bronzing up the face / contouring, and then doing my nose as well. So now I'm going to be using a blusher, and the blusher I'm going to be using today is Taj Mahal by NARS, which is this one. I like more of an orange shade as opposed to a pink shade. I feel like pink makes me look a bit washed out. That's why I tend to go for more of the oranger shades, so that it makes me look more bronze and golden, because I'm trying to look more bronze and golden. So grabbing a blusher brush, I'm not going to put too much on, and then smile, and then put it just where the apples of your cheeks are, but then going up higher. And now time for highlighting. So the one I'm going to be using is by NARS, which is the Orgasm Illuminating Loose Powder, which is this one. I do really like this, but I've got to be really careful with it because it's quite, does kind of get everywhere. So again, using fluffy brush like this, that's what I'm going to use to highlight. This time I don't need to go where my brows are, only because I have already highlighted them. So I'm just going to do it just where my cheekbones are, and then on the bridge of my nose. And then this time I'm also going to do it just on the bow of my lips. Can you see that? Can you see it? Glowing. And then grabbing a thin brush, just doing it on the bridge of my nose. Now the reason why I do like a little triangle just on the tip of my nose is so that it makes my nose look a little bit lifted. So I do like a little triangle just on the end of my nose. And then when I am doing the bows of my lip, I just follow the lines of my lips. And then finally I'm going to be doing my lips. If you watched my previous video, you had noticed I was using two lipsticks that I'm going to be using again today. It is because it is my favourite. So yeah. So the first one I'm going to be using, obviously as a lip liner, is the NARS Satin Lip Pencil in the shade Hetlu. And then just in the centre, I'm going to be using the MAC matte lipstick in the shade Yash. And then this time I'm going to be going over it with a lip gloss by Mercier. So it's going to be the Lip Glaze in the shade Bare Beige, just to give my lips that little pop. I've just made a mistake just where my lip is. Just going to grab a concealer brush. That's better. And then with Yash, I'm going to pop that in the centre of my lips. And finally I'm going to be using the lip gloss. So guys, this is the final look for the full face of makeup with a black smoky eye. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up if you like what you see. If there is anything else that you would like to see, please pop it in the comment section below, or you can always just message me on Instagram, and my handle is @makeupbysedge. I really do hope you enjoy this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later.